Hello, Evanyan! Welcome to this new installment of the Tarot Deep Dive and Dissection, and today we are on to R25, the Hierophant. I've sort of recently come across this sort of symbolism with the bull quite a lot. You know, it's actually kind of interesting to think about. And so I'm not really too sure what to expect. I haven't really studied this card too much, and like it's sort of another reason why I'm sort of doing a lot of this, because as I'm going through a lot of the tarot major trumps, I'm like learning a lot and I'm making more connections, and it's not just about trying to like I guess lecture people, but all the same, I like what you get from this is going to be highly valuable. So let's begin. So the Hierophant: stubborn, strength, toil, endurance, placidity, manifestation, explanation, teaching, goodness of heart, help from superiors, patience, organization, peace. So a lot of this is about labor, I guess, more than anything. And because like the bull is usually, it's a domesticated animal. It's usually a bit of a steer on top of that. And it's heir of earth as well. So it's one of the four powers of the Sphinx. This card is referred to the letter vowel, which means a nail, of the instrument 9 appear at the top of the card. They serve to fix the aureole behind the main picture of the figure, the main figure of the picture. Wait, so... Oh, yeah, it's 9 nails. 9-inch nails, maybe. This card is referred to Taurus, therefore the throne of the Hierophant is surrounded by elephants, which are of the nature of Taurus. And he is actually seated upon a... Oh, I actually didn't notice that. Yeah, he's seated upon a bull. A bit like how Shiva is sort of seated on top of a bull, which is interesting. And it's actually one of the correspondences if you look at the 777 data, which we'll get to. Around him are the 4 beasts or cherubs, one in each corner of the card, for these are the guardians of every shrine. But the main reference is to the particular arcana, which is the principal business, the essentials of all magical work, the uniting of microcosm with the macrocosm. Accordingly, the aureole is diaphanios. Before the manifesto of the mystery is a hexagram representing the macrocosm. In its center is a pentagram representing dancing man-child. Oh yeah, I actually didn't notice that. There's actually a hexagram around him. Would you look at that? Representing a dancing child. This symbolizes the law of the new aeon of the child of Horus, child of horns, which has supplanted the aeon of the dying god, which governed the world for 2,000 years. Before him is the woman girt with the sword. She represents the Scarlet Woman in the hierarchy of the new aeon. The symbolism is further carried out in the aureole, where behind the phallic headdress, the rose of 5 petals is in blossom. So, like the whole thing with the woman being girt with a sword is like it's to do with reason, and I guess also spirit and that kind of thing. And it's that sort of and like that uniting of microcosm and macrocosm. It's the time when the because like we're seeing greater equality now, for example, like there's a lot of characteristics of it. So obviously women can now work, for example, they can vote, they generally can take on careers. The untouchables in India, for example, they can now open up bank accounts, because apparently that actually wasn't a thing until recently, actually. So there's also a lot of that going on. So basically, it's where everyone's sort of being equal and seen as where there's a lot of emancipation going on through a lot of this process. The symbolism of the snake and dove refers to this verse of the Book of the Law, chapter 1, verse 57. There are love and love, there is the dove, and there is the serpent. The symbol recurs in the trump numbered 11. So it's... Wait, what card is that? That's 16. Where is that? Where are you? Can't find it at the moment, but oh yeah. So it's so it's referring to the tower over here. So yeah, the dove and the serpent, and I guess that's sort of. So let's just go back on that. Oh yeah, so you can see that there is like the demiurgos in the corner there, and also the dove over here, which is sort of like that descending tongue of grace, and the peace dove, the eye, and everything else here. Interesting. The background of the whole card is the dark blue of the starry night of Nui, from whose womb all phenomena are born. Taurus, the sign of the zodiac represented by this card, is itself the bull carib, that is, the earth in its strongest and most balanced form. The ruler of this sign is Venus. She's represented by the bull, represented by the woman stand before the Hierophant. So apparently that's Venus right there. Chapter 3 of the Book of Law, verse 11 reads, okay, good, number 11. Let the woman be girt with a sword before me. This woman represents Venus, as she is now in this new aeon, no longer the mere vehicle of a male counterpart, but armed and militant, like independence and basically empowered and emancipated. In the sign, the moon is exalted. Her influence is represented not only by the woman, but by the 9 nails. Interesting. It is impossible at the present time to explain this card thoroughly, for only the course of events can show how the new current of initiation will work out. It is the Aeon of Horus of the child, though. The face of the Hierophant appears benignant and smiling, and the child himself seems glad with wanton innocence. It is hard to deny that in the expression of the initiate is something mysterious, even sinister. He seems to be enjoying a very secret joke at somebody's expense. There is a distinct sadistic aspect of this card, not unnaturally, since it derives from the legend of Persephone, the prototype of all legends of bull gods. These still persist in such religions as Shivaism and after multiple degradations in Christianity itself. I actually want to point this out because the Hierophant card in pretty much all tarot, he's basically doing the like the sign of benediction, like that. As you can see over here, he's actually it's the sign of malediction, so it's the opposite. So it's sort of inverted in that case. So and there's some kind of joke, like as if initiation itself can actually be cruel and almost a nasty experience, and it can be, especially if you're not ready for it. The symbolism of the wand is peculiar. The 3 interlaced rings which crown it may be taken as representative of the 3 aeons of Isis, Osiris, and Horus, with the interlocking magical formulae. Yeah, that actually makes sense, because if you consider that sort of represents like the 3 main eons. We're in the 3rd one now of Aquarius, and before Osiris, which was like the aeon of man, Isis was the aeon of woman. So we're sort of now in a period where it's sort of the aeon of man and woman, basically the marriage of opposites. The upper ring is marked with scarlet for Horus. The 2 lower rings with green for Isis and pale yellow for Osiris, respectively. Okay, yeah. So that would have to mean that's the uniting of both male and female. And the 3rd one here, which would be Horus, the child. Though the face of the hold on. All these are based upon deep indigo, the color of Saturn, the Lord of Time. For the rhythm of the Hierophant is such that he moves only at intervals of 2,000 years. There you go. So that's like aeon changes and amongst other things. So we've already gone through that, but it might take a bit longer. Like, I've noticed that a lot of these cards are probably gonna go for like 20 minutes at a time. So, but we'll now get into this one, which is the Hierophant. So R25, the Hierophant. The Magus of the eternal zodiacal trump of Taurus, Venus rules, lunar exalted. Original design between the pillar sits an ancient. He is crowned, sceptered, and blessing all in a threefold manner. 4 living creatures adore him, the whole suggesting a pentagram by its shape. Wait, 4 living creatures adore him, the whole... Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, look at that. It's basically a pentagram. In a sense. Hebrew letter, vowel, nail. Tree of life, path 16, yep. Colors, red, orange, deep indigo, deep warm, olive, rich brown. Offer thyself virgin to the knowledge of the conversation of thine holy guardian angel. All else is a snare. And that is a really fucking important part because people too often still follow like gurus and I guess leaders, and basically there's still that monkey mentality of needing to be guided by someone. Now, you still need guidance when being initiated into the mysteries to avoid getting lost, so you sort of need your virtual to your Dante, so to speak, to guide you through the underworld. Usually, it doesn't always happen, but it's usually recommended if you can find yourself such a Virgil who isn't full of shit and deceitful. Like, for example, I don't even really want people to take on after me either. And it's a bit interesting to hear people say that. And Crowley himself actually absolutely hated it. He hated that people sort of turned his stuff in a cult of personality, and he said multiple times, he wants every man to cut his own way through the jungle. So, like, stop listening to, I guess in a sense, stop listening to Sadhguru, stop listening to Tony Robbins, stop listening to Deepak Chopra, fucking Osho. Stop idolizing these people. Like, stop it. For real. Stop idolizing. And stop, in the political sphere, stop idolizing Trump. Stop idolizing Elon Musk and all these other shitheads, quite frankly. Including Biden and Albanese and Clive Starmer and fucking Scott Morrison. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care about the political orientation. Like, if you're following either side, it doesn't matter really. Anyway, that's a small political rant, but I hope you get the idea. What I've just been talking about here. All right. Be thou athlete with the 8 limbs of yoga, for without these thou art not disciplined for any fight. That is actually quite poignant, and I might actually circle that myself, because that is quite... I need to look at the 8 limbs of yoga again. Personally. Alright. I should like hours of brain picking with you. I have 1,000 things I want to ask you. I shall never remember when I see you. Kabbalah, Chinese, Eddington medley, and questions and demands for your sage and onion explanations pierce the ether all around me. Harris to Crowley, January 28, 1940. Because it's like 1,000 fucking things, right? That you can ask someone. Especially... Illuminostic who's on YouTube, who talked a lot about, like, I asked him millions of freaking questions, and he's been right pretty much every single time. They've been verifiable, they've been observable, and they've been demonstrable, and that's how I know I can trust him. Not through just trusting the word of some dickhead grifter like Sadhguru. This card is so rich in traditional and thelemic symbolism that it is difficult to know where to begin. One thing is immediately obvious. This is not your Aeon of Osiris Pope. The whole card is presented as the shrine of the Hierophant of the Aeon of Horus, and this guy has some sex appeal. Yeah, man, that's hot. Oh, that hat, that beard. Oh, man. I'm getting moist. Oh my god. Instead of pale, humorous features of a delicate prelate officially at some demure worship service, We are thrilled by the bold, confident image of a Babylonian priest king and an initiator in every sense of the word. He is not humbly served by docile acolytes like the Azarian Hierophant. Instead, he is actively supported in his work by sword-bearing Scarlet Woman, the embodiment of heavenly Venus. So, this card obviously directly connects to Venus through Hokmah. And maybe that is a very important thing to talk about. And I remember if we went to... Let's actually go look at the Magician again. There was something he talked about with connections to... Here we go. Yeah. So 1, 2, 6... Oh, okay. That's not the one I was thinking about, but... Yeah, so there's actually a direct connection to Venus. And basically the Hierophant, I'm guessing, is that one that maintains that energy of love with like the 4 powers of the Sphinx, as you can see. Okay, so let the go... Oh, so, yeah, Heavenly Venus who rules Taurus. Let this woman be girt with a sword before me. The Book of the Law commands... This woman, Crowley states, represents Venus as she is now in the new aeon, no longer the mere vehicle of a male counterpart, but armed and militant. So, basically, like the anima, it becomes more militant, and it becomes a bit like it comes to the surface a lot more. She carries the moon, which is exalted in the sign of Taurus. Moreover, we see evidence in this new initiatory love relationship dramatically highlighted in the ornate window that illuminates the shrine, which Crowley describes thus. The symbolism is further carried out in the aureole where, behind the phallic headdress, the rose of 5 petals is in blossom. The symbolism of the snake and dove refer to this verse of the Book of the Law, chapter 1, verse 57. There are love and love, there is dove, and there is the serpent, as we talked about. The window is held in place by 9 nails, the number 9 being symbolic of the 9th Sephiroth, Yesod, the sphere, the moon. So that is actually probably a really important thing because there's this masculine archetype who has actually been held together by the moon. So that sort of symbolism is quite potent when you think about it because it sort of shows that it needs to be nailed by the woman, so to speak. The Hierophant's shrine is guarded, as every good shrine should be, by the 4 cherubic beasts. And here I think we should address what appears at first glance to be a mistake Lady Harris has made as the positioning of the 4 cherubic beasts. The 4 cherubic beasts represent the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac. Leo, the fixed sign of fire, symbolized by the lion. Scorpio, the fixed sign of water, symbolized by the eagle. Aquarius, the fixed sign of air, symbolized by the man angel. And Taurus, a fixed sign of earth, symbolized by the bull. And I want to take time, and maybe that's what it means by fixed sign, because those nails could actually imply swords. Because if you look at the triplicities of the zodiac, so for example, Capricorn is fire of earth, Virgo is water of earth, and all of these are actually air. So eagle is air of water, man is air of air, Taurus is air of earth, and the lion is air of fire. And maybe this fixed, like they're fixed signs by means of air for the different 4 elements, as we can see. Tarot decks reaching back to the earliest packs have traditionally displayed the cherubic beasts in the corners of various trumps, most often the Wheel of Fortune and the World. R210 and R221. The placement of the 4 beasts on these old decks is almost universally consistent. The lion of Italy is in the lower right-hand corner, the eagle of Scorpio is in the upper right, the man or angel is in the upper left, and the bull of Taurus is in the lower left. This is the natural order of the fixed signs as they appear on the zodiacal belt and the logical place to put them. In the 4th tarot, however, Harris appears to break with this tradition in a placement of the cherubic beast in the Hierophant and the universal trumps. So I know why that is because if you look at the pentagram, like if you actually go look at the Golden Dawn pentagram, you'll see like at the very top is like the spirit, the wheel dharma sort of thing, and then the upper left is water, then the upper right is air, and then the lower left is earth, and then the lower right is fire. And when you trace the pentagram, it goes earth. Is that right? No. Those two are swapped. No. It's the opposite way around. But, like, you get the idea. It's more consistent with the pentagram. Some people maybe swap it, but, you know. But maybe there's a reason for that. The bull and the lion dutifully occupies the traditional corners, but the angel and the eagle have switched positions. Could it be that she was ignorant of the order of signs of the zodiac and that Crowley let her get away with it in two important cards? Could it be that in the Aeon of Horus, the signs of the zodiac have been rearranged? The answer to both of these questions is no. I actually just want to check quickly what the universe arrangement is. Okay, so yeah, it's consistent. In the new Aeon it is not the position of the zodiacs, but the symbols of the cherubs that have changed. In Crowley's vision of the 23rd Enochian Aether, it is revealed that the emblem for fixed area Aquarius is now the eagle. And the emblem for fixed water is Scorpio is now the angel. Okay, that's kind of interesting. The Beast and the Scarlet Woman attributed to Leo and Scorpio. They are the 2-in-1 chief officers of the Temple of the New Aeon of Heru'raha. Note the eagle cherub in the 23 air is Aquarius. Scorpio is the woman serpent. This is important for older attributions is of the eagle to Scorpio. The Hierophant's throne is flanked by elephants. He is seated upon the bull of Taurus himself. He holds in his right hand a wand surmounted by 3 rings symbolizing... Yeah, we went over that. His head... I'll say it again anyway, I guess. He holds in his right hand a wand surmounted by 3 rings symbolizing the ascending of the Aeon of Horus from preceding Aeons of Isis and Osiris. In his left hand it is open in benediction. But that's malediction. Maybe you made a mistake. All this new Aeon imagery is wonderful, but what we should keep foremost in our mind is the fact that the Hierophant is the vow of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, so the tetragrammaton. He is the 6th of the divine macrocosmic consciousness to whom we must nail 5 of our earthly microcosmic consciousness. He is the Prince Charming in the cosmic fairy tale, our holy guardian angel. So... the Hierophant is the holy guardian angel, and it's sort of guided by Venus, the goddess of love. Love is the law, love under will. There you go, people. Think about that for a second. That's actually that's basically the bullet point of like everything that we really need to talk about almost when we talk about will and things like that. Love is the law, love under will. And the Hierophant is guided by that. By the goddess of love. So that is probably going to be the most important. I want you to probably write what I just said down and really contemplate what I just said. Okay. So yeah, the 6th, we must mail the 5 earthly consciousness. He is the Prince Charming. The initial character level characterized by the knowledge and conversation with the HGA is illustrated on this card by the union of the pentagram and hexagram. Our microcosmic self is the dancing child in the pentagram upon the Hierophant's macrocosmic beast. The hexagram can be seen enclosed in the whole body of the Hierophant. And yeah, you can see that. And that will conclude that area. I just want to see if there's... Usually magical powers, I think, are the more, like, more important things. So, indigestion. Between the pillars. Magical images. Where's magical powers? I know they're here. Yeah, the secret of physical strength? Damn, okay. Maybe that's where it comes from. Vegetable drugs, sugar, storax. So, yeah, I guess to sum up that whole presentation is, yeah, love is the law, love and the will, and it's basically that whole thing of, like, anything that done out of hate or fear is wrong, and anything done out of love is correct. And it's probably that simple, actually, because when you because I remember, because even Saint Augustine sort of understood this. He basically said that that the sorry, he basically he actually said at first is like, love and do what thou wilt, and that anything done out of, like, you cannot do anything wrong when all is done out of love. And even though he was like a Christian, he was an initiate to the Manichaeans, no less. So he was still a mystery initiate, even when he converted to Christianity. So I think that's a really important thing, actually. I need to look in the camera a little bit more, I reckon, and maybe that's why people keep going away. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this tarot dissection and deep dive. I am so happy I did it. I learnt a lot, and I will see you guys later. Bye for now.